Wait.
Happy Halloween!
I'm chewing
Russ
on a
is
milk
eating
dud.
candy. Left, Right, and Blue starts now.
All right. We're back. Don't eat any candy that have hidden razor blades in them.
Yeah, and apples.
And apples.
Do people give apples away?
I'm not aware of anybody.
My kids did not get apples.
I hope nobody
for Halloween in our part.
went through all the trouble of
in our neck of the woods.
Illegal fentanyl and putting it in candy.
So did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
That
actually happened.
It was $170,000 worth of illegal, not fentanyl, but it had HC. What's the marijuana?
THC.
THC.
Okay.
In prepackaged candies that.
For what purpose?
They have it's legal in North Carolina.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right.
They were some of them were legal, but they have
Did you mislabel them or something?
Some of them were fake, I think, and then but they all look like
just like regular candy or something.
Yeah. So.
Oh boy.
And they're like silly names like Stonio's instead of Oreos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they took them all off the shelf. But you got to watch because there could be a Stonio in there if you don't look for it. And there's a lot of gummies.
Right.
These are gummies,
Dude, I'm looking at a cow tail right now, and that cow definitely looks stoned.
See, you never know.
Look at your cow tail. That cow is clearly not sober with those eyes.
Right.
So just be
you
careful.
never know.
Boys and girls, a little public service announcement from Left, Right, and Blue.
Your candy stash.
Don't eat candy with stoned
weird names
on
and but they're putting like Donald Duck.
Yep.
And he's all like,
oh yeah, no, I've seen that stuff.
So it's crazy.
Dude, but you know what? I feel like they've done that kind of crap. Remember when we were young? Remember the candy cigarettes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
at least they didn't actually have nicotine in the cigarettes.
I know.
It's just candy.
Yeah.
It's not like these aren't like little fake joints that are made of candy. These
those
are candies
little fake joints
that have the crap inside of it. So, and I don't want my 9-year-old.
Yeah. Well, maybe if they start selling that stuff in a 7-Eleven, you can be worried. But I mean, you can only get that in like dispensaries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think that would be.
Yeah, but
I'm sure some moron out there.
But they're giving them out. They can't. They got to do something about the packaging.
Listen,
you can't package things that are for adults that and try. What are they trying to get it to the kids?
I don't know what they're trying to do. But who's the comedian? You can't fix stupid. Like, do you remember several years ago they had to put a warning on the commercials on TV that Red Bull does not actually give you wings. Because some moron drank a bunch of Red Bull and jumped off. Yeah,
but we're talking kids here. If you're a 5-year-old who's going trick or treating, reaches in his candy, opens some.
I know a ton of 5-year-olds that drink a bunch of Red Bull. So
I'm not talking about Red Bull. I'm talking about the AC whatever.
Yeah, no, I got you.
All right,
what's that? Go ahead. But
I'm thirsty.
So yeah, holy cow! So
we have a interesting one.
I blame Tim for all of this. So if you've been paying attention. Tim likes to try to surprise us with some of this kind of off-brand, different, odd things that I would never pick out on my own.
Sipping cream,
and most of them have been on point. So
McGillicuddy's.
I will absolutely thank you. You've gotten me to try stuff I wouldn't otherwise drink. Now, in that vein, I was in the liquor store today, and I spent several minutes just
looking for things with dust on them.
Right. And I picked up this bottle and literally spent several minutes trying to determine what the liquid actually is. So here it is. It's called Shanky's Whip. It's made in Ireland. I spent several minutes trying to find the word rum, whiskey, vodka, gin, anything. It's not on here. Now, after some probing, I did find a description that reads, spirits distilled from whey with natural flavors and caramel color.
Goes well with curds.
Yes, curds and. Yeah, so whey, when I think of whey, I think of like protein, like whey protein.
Yeah, but it's a grain.
But yeah, but like why? I've never even considered alcohol.
Just something to ferment.
Yeah, well, all right, so at first observation, there's nothing settled on the bottom.
Which is always a good sign. Which is what we usually have.
All right, so we didn't do anything with this. Yeah, we didn't smell it. We didn't do anything.
Yeah, so Shanky's Whip, made in Ireland, black, smooth, Irish.
Right. Just like Tim's.
Stop. Just stop right there. Okay. Yeah. That's it.
That's it. So here we go. We know nothing about this. I didn't look it up. I didn't read like tasting notes. I did nothing. So
always one to buck the trend.
Yes. So let's
bottled and blended in Ireland.
So here we go.
What's
here we go. Thank you, Ireland.
I have a feeling you're going to be blended.
I'm going to pour. It's 33%. So it's like a 66 proof. I can already smell it. Oh my God. All right.
I can smell it all the way over
here.
Yeah,
it smells like old Doc McGillicuddy's cure-all for, foot fungus. All right, gunshot wounds. All right, so what the hell is that?
I don't know.
It's got a smell. I can't tell you. Here we go.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's caramelly.
All right, I'm going to go like, ready for this? Stale Coke. Like Coca-Cola. There's like a...
No. Flat root beer.
Flat root beer. There it is.
Or cream soda.
Something you're in...
Alcoholic cream soda.
Yes. Non-carbonated, flat cream soda.
Yeah.
That's right on the money. That's right on the money.
All right. It's not bad. Can't go wrong with Irish, whatever this is.
There's a weird, like when you swallow it, there's like a little tingle burning thing that goes, but it finishes real fast. Like there's nothing that lingers in there.
There's no lingering.
I'm
trying to compare this to
I might like this.
I might like this?
I like it.
I might like this. It's like, it's something you can drink to warm you up on those hoary nights.
Yes, those. Would you say hoary?
Hoary, yeah.
Nights filled with whores. What do you?
No, Hoary.
Hoary.
I think it means like bitter cold.
Oh, okay.
I remember it was on the bottle of some kind of bourbon I had years ago.
Okay.
And I remember laughing because it was the description was
gotcha.
Warms you up on those hoary nights.
So
not WH, but HOA.
So if you pay attention to the news, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
We've asked this question before, and I just want to know like your current stance on this. And I didn't really prepare a response, and it's just kind of a spontaneous question. Where are you at with the current proceedings with the legal charges with former President Trump?
God, all the stuff that's going on, you got to go back to Trump.
Well, I'm just curious.
It just seems like a witch hunt, and it's just like so. I think it's out of everybody's mind except for MSNBC.
So
because I don't see, from what I've seen, I don't see anything worthy of jail.
Okay.
Maybe fines.
Okay.
But nothing worthy of jail.
All right.
I just don't see anything. I think they're grasping at straws. I think they're desperate to keep him out of this race. I don't think there's
I've heard that argument.
Because, like I said, there are other people out there that have done worse and that are not in jail.
Well,
a lot worse.
Well, a couple of the charges. Now, again, we're not going to sit here and break down all the charges.
No, please don't.
But he's been accused of intentionally falsifying the value of his properties for the purposes of getting preferential loans. So he would go this particular building is worth a lot more than it actually is, and I'll use that building for collateral. Okay. That is a common crime.
Okay, two things on that. First of all, banks don't take the owner's word.
Okay.
That's what appraisers are for.
Right.
So you can say anything you want.
Okay.
If they're not going to listen to you because they get it appraised, that the banks aren't going to like, oh, you say it's well, okay, here's what I'm going to give you.
Okay.
But no bank listens to the owner's value. You can value your house at whatever.
Okay.
The appraiser's going to come in and go, you're on crack because it ain't that much. So that's the one issue that is stupid to begin with. Okay. Number two, he undervalued them. He didn't account for his brand. Trump has a brand.
That's correct.
So that is good. You take a house that's X amount of dollars,
right?
And then you put somebody that's famous in that house.
It increases the value.
So he undervalued it. So right there, strike two.
So there were certainly incidences where things were undervalued, and a lot of that had to do with, from what I've read so far,
Mar-a-Lago,
right?
Trump Tower.
So the purpose behind that apparently was to get preferential rates on like insurance.
Okay. Now again, though, his word doesn't really matter because the banks have the final say, and they have their own appraisers.
Right. So somewhere in there.
So nobody got screwed, though. That's the thing. Nobody was harmed in this. So why are they bringing this up?
So there's
the banks agreed.
Right.
The sale went through. Everybody got their money.
Okay.
He doesn't owe anything. So why are they bringing this up? There was no harm. No party was harmed in these instances. It's like it doesn't really matter.
And then, so here's my last question on this. Then we can certainly change subject. Is the understanding from your perspective that this is coordinated? In other words,
absolutely,
charges in Georgia, charges in Florida, charges in New York.
Yeah.
There is some behind-the-scenes coordinating body.
Absolutely.
That's getting district attorneys, prosecutors,
all these attorneys
to make up stuff.
Soros-backed attorneys.
Okay.
So, yes, absolutely. George Soros and other activists and people related to him are, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And there may be an exception to that.
Right.
But that's just following suit because notice they're not non-biased people. They're all left-leaning people who have donated to the other side. They all have an agenda. So every single one of them. And the girl in New York, she even said, I think it's new, even said when in her campaign that I'm going to get Trump. So you want to talk about a target? So
Fani Willis, the woman in Georgia, that's the prosecutor, right? These charges were brought in front of a jury of his peers.
In a Democrat-heavy area. So, in a Trump-hating area.
So you're then suggesting that people implemented a political agenda, people like you and me, that got pulled into jury duty.
They did it on purpose in specific areas.
Well, that's where the crimes were committed. Right? Like, so that's the geographic location of where it happened.
Well, it's so-called committed.
Well, no,
he is innocent until proven guilty.
Sure, but the geographic area is not up for question. So, like,
well, the place where it's happening are people that are Democrats majority, and that are bitching and whining over Trump. They got this Trump derangement syndrome in these areas. You don't see other areas. You don't see red-heavy areas that love Trump going after little nitpicking stuff.
Well, the charges in Georgia aren't nitpicking.
It's political. So it's political. If it wasn't Trump and it was Biden doing the same thing, they would not be touching this. Because Hillary did the same thing. She said, she argued that she didn't lose the election. She was an election denier. Nobody went after her.
She
said
conceded the election.
No, she didn't.
She absolutely. Donald Trump is the only president in modern U.S. history.
Her assistant conceded the election.
The end of the body of people known as
he's
the
not in the
Clinton
White
people.
House, so he conceded by not going.
No, he's never conceded. He said
My
to this
point,
day.
but the point is, though, she did the same thing, though.
She did what? That is the same thing.
Denied that the election was wrong and it was rigged.
But then said that.
But she she may have conceded and said, "Fine, you win."
Right.
But she still denied. She still says that it was rigged. She still says she should be president.
But she followed the rules and
But
conceded the election.
How do we know? There was never a probe into her. There was never.
Never a probe into
not
Hillary
into
Clinton.
this, into her election denial. No, because
you're allowed
everybody exactly
right, but
everybody does this.
So
they did it politically, out loud to the world, louder than others.
So,
but they're holding Trump more accountable than they did these other people who denied it. And I don't have the details about what happened, but I know they both did the same thing. I've heard them. I've heard both sides of it. It sounds similar, and trying to get other votes and seeing if there's any votes there, which is nothing wrong with that. They're just calling to say, I want you to find me votes. There's got to be some votes there. And it's wrong. It's wrong. Blah, 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 blah,
so
blah.
You're not under the impression that Donald Trump or anyone working for or affiliated with him engaged in any kind of criminal activity for the purposes of overthrowing the election? Because you've got these people that are now, like Mark Meadows, his number one guy, has now been given immunity.
Yeah, but the thing is, though,
why would he do that?
I don't know.
Right.
I can't get into his mind.
Yeah. So
but that's the thing. You can't get into their mind. So if he's guilty, that's on him.
Right.
You can't be on Trump because you cannot read his mind.
So his attorneys have now taken plea deals.
Because they don't want their lives ruined. And that's what these prosecutors are trying to ruin people's lives.
Well,
so if you push somebody hard enough,
right,
you can get them to say anything.
I don't
if
disagree.
You threaten them, and you're threatening the livelihood of them and their family, and they're going to say whatever you want.
Is there any room
it's
for
a
the
witch
fact?
hunt.
Is there any room for the fact? Let me ask. Hold on. I'll finish with this question. Is there any? This is eventually going to come to a conclusion, right? This is going to come to a conclusion.
Sure.
Is there anything? Is there anything that you could be told? Is there any evidence that could be unsealed to the public to make you go,
no,
he's a criminal?
I don't know. So far, I haven't heard it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
fair enough.
If people were bribed and people were threatened their lives, and sure. But so far, I don't see any of that.
So
I see more bribery with the Biden thing. I mean, it's there. Zelensky's aide even admitted to it. How much more facts do you need? That's what I'm saying. So you're taking these plea deals heavier than actual people that witnessed the bribery with Biden, but that's not enough. There's no evidence there. It's so hypocritical. It's like on this side, oh, no. But when it's Trump, any little tiny little thing is enough.
Well,
I mean, put him in jail for the rest of his life, give him the death sentence. I mean, it's just so lopsided. It's just over. And I think the American people have had it.
I will agree with.
Over.
I think
I don't want to deal with it anymore.
And I think that you're touching on something that's important.
And I think that's what they want.
And I think that,
but it's not hurting him though. His numbers are still so high.
That's correct.
So that's why they keep going after more and more stuff, and you keep more and more lawsuits.
And I think
they're grasping at straws.
Negative, like a negative consequence of this, which is I think what you're alluding to, is it's just so much. You're just like it's just noise at this point. I can't even hear it. Like, if there was a single charge that all the attention and focus was on, I think this would be landing differently with a lot of people. So the more stuff that gets piled on this, I think most people at this point don't have the capacity to sit there and try to weed through all this stuff.
Well, I think what they're doing is they keep compounding it because we don't have enough there.
Right.
You see, there's a thing, I don't know what the name is, but there's a thing with law where you have a crime and then it's already committed. They're looking for things here, they're looking for crimes.
Right.
Rather than having the crime and prosecuting a crime that they know happened.
Well, no,
they're digging, and they've always done this from the very get-go. They're digging. There was hearsay, and then they're investigating while he's on trial.
Right.
Rather than investigating, and then they're trying to find stuff wrong. You could do that with any politician. If you take a politician and you just deep dive and spend all this money trying to find some dirt, you're going to find something. Whether or not, but that's what they're doing with Trump at the nth degree. They're just going overboard.
And you don't perceive that people on the right historically did the same thing with like President Obama.
Not to this level.
See,
no. He was never put on trial. He could have been.
Well, no. Because
he could have been.
The guy had no scandals. The guy...
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, if they really wanted to break precedent and go after him, he's a sitting president. That's what kept him... You know, you got to be pretty bold to go after that. And I don't want to talk about this for the whole show. So I'm done.
Okay. Move on. Pick a subject. Go on to the next one.
Well, so... I don't like the fact that Biden is going... He's still trying to get these loans, debt paid off for these people.
Are you talking about student loan debt?
Student loan debt.
Okay. So yeah, we can talk about that.
He keeps going over the Supreme Court or a federal court says no, and then he keeps throwing it back at them.
Okay. So,
and with lately what's happening with all these protests, all these colleges, and all these protests supporting Hamas, that just adds fuel to this fire on my argument.
So wait, hold on.
Because I don't want. It's bad enough where you're paying for people who have these expenses. They're not even working.
Right.
They majored in whatever.
Okay.
You know, advanced basket weaving.
But
then on top of it, you get these people again, and then they're using the college money to go to the protests and protest for
hold on. But
for
you and
Hamas. So
I'm having a hard time connecting that line, but
it's just more reason that I don't want to support these people.
But can we agree that the bulk of people who take out a student loan are not trying to get a degree in basket weaving? They're most people. I'm sure there'll always be an example of some moron who did something stupid with a student loan. But could you and I agree that most people who take student loans are attempting to get a legitimate degree for legitimate purposes? We could agree on that. Right. Okay.
They still need to pay back their loan.
Right. So I think this is where but I think this is where the question comes up, right? So when you talk about trying to get people off of public assistance, when you talk about costs that are incurred by people, and you're trying to create people having...
Yeah, it's a rough world out there. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a little bit more than that.
But the point is, though, why am I paying for it? So if you get a car,
right,
and you buy a car and you can't afford it,
right,
who eats it?
No,
who eats it?
If I can't, well, the car would be repoed, but the bank ultimately would eat that
because they gave the loan.
Right.
I didn't give the loan to these people.
Correct.
The colleges gave the loan.
Right.
They need to eat this.
So
if you want to pay back, if you want to relieve the debt, that's fine. The colleges need to relieve the debt.
Now I think you and I are going to start to get to a place where we're very much in agreement.
Because I don't think that is fair for us. Why should I pay for that person's loan? Why? What about these guys that work with their hands? Contractors.
Yeah. No one's reimbursing their tools. No one's reimbursing their work truck.
With the truck.
Yeah.
That's their degree. Or their trade school, or whatever they used, their tools and their machines.
When you talk about privately owned debt, right? So like just people like you and me, cumulative debt. In the United States, the number one privately owned debt is mortgage loans, right? People have mortgages.
Right.
Number two is student loans. It's number two.
But again, it's on the colleges.
Right. I don't disagree. But if we're trying to create a situation where a young person can come out of college and have a shot at working, having a shot at not living in debt for the next 20 years, now we can certainly go back and go, why'd you take out the loan in the first place? Like, you could do that.
Right.
But we also live in a world where, for many people, the perception of success is only gotten through college. And I agree with you in many ways that colleges owe a debt. I think colleges, in my opinion, colleges are gatekeepers. Like, a college just goes, like, you work in education. You've been doing it for a very long time, and you're very good at it.
And I learned nothing in college.
Bingo. Right? So the only thing a college does is go, I'm going to dangle this thing, and you have to do these steps. Now, let me ask, we're watching right now in our state of Florida, because of the teacher shortage that's going on. Dude, like when you and I first moved down here, they hired me to teach. I have no educational background, right? But the school allowed me to come in. The school then said, you're going to start taking classes towards this certification. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately, the state would give me the green light. They would go, Russ, you're now a teacher in the state of Florida.
That help us.
Yeah, so yeah, this, what was it, Groucho Marx? I never belonged to a club that would have me as a member. But like, that to me is a perfect example of, if there was an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid that wanted to be a school teacher, and someone stuck him in your classroom for a year, my argument would be that they would get much more useful and practical, usable knowledge. Right. So colleges are just...
That's why they need to bring back apprenticeship.
Yes. And when we think of apprenticeship, man, I love you and I are agreeing on this right now. When we think about apprenticeship, we generally talk about trades, electrical, plumbing, masonry, things like that, right?
But there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing this with everything.
Right. So like...
But that would put the colleges out of business.
Correct. And we can't have that.
But there's a happy medium, that's fine. They're making it so difficult. You got to take so many courses and so many credits. Correct. And they're charging so much money, which they don't have to charge. Right. How about get rid of some of these tenure positions? Stop paying these professors godly amounts of money so they can badmouth our country. And tell our students, instead of focusing on the academics, getting them all into politics and everything.
I think college is supposed to be a place where you're supposed to explore stuff.
Explore and learn.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of exploring. It's a whole lot of brainwashing.
And I mean that's a big paintbrush.
It's a left-leaning institution.
I believe that learning institutions, just by definition, are going to be progressive. Right? There's going to be...
Shouldn't be, though.
Right. No, but I'm saying the idea of taking in new information, the idea of kind of, I used to think this way, now I'm going to try to think this way. I'm going to be challenged by new thoughts. I'm going to take classes on information. Like, I think that's just more of a progressive mindset. Now, I don't mean to say that colleges should have a political agenda. I'm just saying the environment is an open-ended learning setting where you come into people of different cultures, different backgrounds. I just find that to be a more progressive setting. The question I ask is, what is the dramatic difference between your undergraduate degree in education and the undergraduate degree in education today that caused the average cost of college to go up, like 400% they're saying now?
I think it's the price of the teachers.
And I even question 400%. Like, I don't know that a college professor got a 400% increase in his salary. Like, where is this freaking money going?
It must be going at the exec.
Board member. There's just a part of this.
But there's a way that, and another thing, Florida is such a great state. We have bright futures here in Florida. And for those of you who don't live in Florida, it's where kids in school, middle school and high school, they get credits and they get good grades. Right. They get A's and B's and they earn money. Right. Scholarships to Florida State schools. Correct. Yeah. So my daughter, she's a freshman now. She's got all A's. Yeah. She's got high academics, advanced honors courses.
She's 9 feet tall. She's an amazing dancer.
And she is set. If she keeps going on the course she's going, she doesn't have to pay for school in Florida. Right. Even though she wants to go out of state, which she ain't doing because then we have to pay for it and take out a student loan. Yeah, it hasn't hit her yet. Yeah. But there's plenty of great schools here. Yeah, plenty. Every state should do that. And the federal government, if they're going to do anything, How about work with the colleges around the nation and in the states,
right,
or get the state, encourage the state governors to get more bright future type programs, and stop worrying about what's happening already in the past. It's done. They need to pay it back. Maybe help them out with some kind of aid. That's fine, but you can't eliminate that.
No, that
maybe
I agree
a
with.
work program.
See, now you're about to finish my sentence.
Okay, so
yeah,
they need to pay back. They need to do something constructive to the community where it's not a freeload.
Civic service. So
anything.
So, like, for example, in the state of Florida, we have these grading systems for the schools. They still do that? A schools, B schools. Yeah, all right. So briefly, if you're in a school and the kids are doing very well there, based on testing, they get this roughly. I'm oversimplifying. You do that really well, you're in A school.
Yeah, but
you do that really poorly, you're like a D or an F school.
Getting off topic real quick, it's crap
because of course it is.
It's based on the schools are highly based on socioeconomic
It's a
status.
huge thing, yeah.
So you're not going to get your A schools. I mean, sure, there are exceptions, but most of the lower end schools, they're going to suffer. So because it's just the way it is.
So let's pretend for a second
anyway
that you have, in the state of Florida, a job opening at an A school, and then you had a job opening in a D or an F school in a more of a higher need situation. If the student coming out of college goes, I will go work in this high need area, maybe in that situation we could.
Well, they do that here.
Yeah, you can get some of your student loan forgiven.
It's called Title I school, and I've worked at a Title I school, and I have gotten
so things
some
like that.
discount. Okay,
military service.
But that's why I say military. That's a great
military service. Anything that
enlist, even if it's not full time. You know, and the more you enlist, like if you want to be what do you call it? Not fully enlisted, but as a reservist.
Like a reservist, yeah.
You know, you get X amount cut off.
So,
but do something.
You
can't just sit in your mom's couch, playing video games and eating potato chips, and expect me to pay for it. It's not right.
I think, short of the guy sitting on the couch playing video games trying to get Tim's money,
bastard.
Yeah, I think what has happened, and I think what some of these kids are dealing with, and I'm pretty confident you're going to agree with me on this. There has been, with the onset of technology, these kids on their phones the way they are, and then insert COVID, where for some of these kids during very developmental times they were kind of isolated. We're kind of creating this group of individuals that their interpersonal relationships are minimal at best. Where you and I grew up in a very different kind of way. So anything that would get someone out into their community, getting some sense of connection to others, I think just benefits us as a culture, as a
society,
whole. As a whole.
So I have no problem with working towards it, but I think that the issue needs to be put at the source of the problem, and that goes back to the colleges.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree.
They need to have more incentives to get good grades and and work with the colleges to incentivize it.
Maybe you can answer this question because I'm not so sure.
But we got to move on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's your question, real quick?
Yeah. With regards to student loan debt, is there just unusually high interest on those loans?
Yes,
or there is. Is that what it is?
It's a combination of that and the price of school is just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is.
And you have one school. People, rather go to a private school and even more than a state school.
Yeah.
And the state schools are just as good, if not better. And cheaper.
You're actually stepping on something because a lot of private schools, as we know, their kind of criteria of success or their determination as to what makes them a good or not so good school is kind of exclusively determined by the private entity.
Right. So
with a state school, there's at least an understood general rubric for success or failure within that system.
Right. Well, and that's another reason why I think people are drawn to it. They don't have to follow the rules.
Yeah, but then you come out sometimes with just
ridiculous
crap. Or no, I'm saying the education was awful. It was useless.
Right, exactly. You have a degree from this place.
Right. Yeah, and we're seeing this a lot in Florida. We see this a lot. it comes to pass, it's actually pretty simple to open up a private school.
Yeah.
Like you and me could sit down right now,
Sure.
and by Monday we could have opened
Especially
up a
if
school.
it's online.
Yeah.
And that's not just Florida, that's the whole country.
Yeah, agreed.
So
he's all ready to go.
I'm
He's
ready
got
to
like
go.
topics.
Do you
here.
have another topic?
No, you're set. You got one sitting there. I'm curious
So
what
they
you're
think
looking
they may have found Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that hurt my neck. I mean, that, like, whew, that wrapped it. Yeah.
So, yeah, Jimmy Hoffa may be buried at the site of the demolished, can't read, MLB Stadium.
Stop it! I did hear about that.
Yeah.
There was like an old
Milwaukee, next to Milwaukee
Yeah.
Stadium. So they were thinking about this before. So they thought they had some evidence that it was at the construction of it. Way
Yes,
back
it
when.
was just they poured his
it
dead
was
body into
moved.
the cement.
They took it from somewhere else and
Yeah.
they put it into the cement underneath the stadium, underneath third base.
Mm-hmm.
And then that went away, whatever. But now they demolished it and they made it a little league field.
Okay.
Because they built a new stadium right next
I'm
door.
listening.
So they're still convinced that he's there. So they had a ground penetrating radar.
Oh,
And
right.
It found that it couldn't read a certain area at
Right.
that spot.
Right.
It couldn't read because there was impacted clay from something being dumped in there.
Okay.
Okay, which is evidence of something being compacted into another.
All right.
So, it gets better.
Okay.
So they took this this renowned cadaver dog that is like 99.99% right
Okay.
in all of its
With you.
murders. And, like it finds bodies for investigations
All right.
all over the country.
Okay.
And they took the handler and the dog, and they were there 5 minutes, and the dog went right
The
to
dog
that
went right
spot.
to that spot.
And they redid it like 5 or 6 times.
So, but like, here's the
So
question.
the dog says that spot, the same spot. They didn't tell the lady,
Right.
the handler,
So
where the spot was. The dog went right there.
they go in. Let's say they go in there and they unearth it,
That's what they're going to do next.
and let's say they find a body in
They're
there,
going to do DNA.
right? And then let's say it's Jimmy Hoffa.
And then we
Then-
don't
so
have to
then
hear
what?
about it anymore.
Yeah, like this to
So
me is like,
Geraldo can't do any more
right,
shows
so
on
this actually reminds me, if we bring that into like kind of current, we apparently found the guy who shot Tupac.
it. Right.
Right. So, I mean, I'm thankful for his family
But now you go,
because, it's like the dog that finally
Right.
caught up with the car. So like
Right,
the
yeah,
dog.
now
Like, so
what?
now what? Yeah. So
it's
like
over. We don't have to hear
if
about
that
it
helps
anymore.
his family, or even with
I don't know,
Mr.
it's just a
Hoffa's
mystery.
family, you know, I mean,
It's
like
just a mystery that's
if it
solved.
helps with some,
Maybe there'll be
closure,
some
but, like-
stuff in there. I don't know.
but what do we actually
They can put a
do
monument
with
there.
that
I don't know.
information? I don't know.
I don't know. It's just like I said. It's
Or what we
they're
can
not going to be
really
able to.
do.
They're not going to be able to
have-
talk about it at the cooler in the morning.
Right, that's one less
That's
thing
one
to
less
talk
thing to
about.
talk about.
Yeah, actually have to.
You know,
Get to
I
know
was
somebody.
thinking, how the hell is Jimmy Hoffa buried? They can't say
How
that.
about the weather this
They
week?
can't say that
Yeah.
anymore. Now they're going to have to go,
You ever wondered what
Hey,
happened to Jimmy Hoffa?
you know what? We do know.
We now
Now
know.
what are we going to do?
We now know.
All right, yeah. So,
All right.
well, you got anything else?
No, dude, I'm good.
All right, well, I want to tell you about, Russ didn't watch his show.
I forgot to watch my show.
He's a loser.
I screwed up.
I watched his.
I'm
show.
really holding on to my seat here because I thought this was a
What
great.
the hell's that thing called?
Oh God, it was like darn it! You're gonna make me look it up.
Yes, it was a show with John Goodman when they're like evangelists.
Yeah.
And I liked the cast, and my wife and I started to watch it. I think
The Righteous Gemstones.
Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
And Russ was saying how funny and
Oh my God, my
hysterical it
wife
was.
and I died watching
And
it.
I'll tell you, we didn't even get through the first episode.
Oh!
It was so freaking stupid.
Okay, so tell me why.
And I am not. It's not like I think Airplane is stupid. I love like Airplane.
That's good, stupid.
That's good stupid.
Right.
This stupid. It's so stupid. I don't know what they were going for. It was just ridiculous. I just did not. It was annoying. The characters were annoying as hell.
Oh.
They were. You can't. I have a hard
Mr. Goodman,
time.
I'm very sorry.
I have a hard time rooting for assholes.
Okay.
And the whole family is an asshole.
That is true.
And you have no hero in this. At least to the
To
degree
where you
we
saw it. Yeah.
watched it. And I'm like, I don't like these people. Good riddance.
You don't-
And I don't want them to win. You know, so I just couldn't get into it. And it wasn't, the jokes weren't funny. It was
So,
just kind of like, they were just kind of there. So This was my Fringe.
Okay.
For you.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that. Oh.
See, so.
But like, so I will default.
It was so hokey and so stupid.
I'm a huge Danny McBride fan.
Yeah, I don't really care for him.
I love Danny McBride. Like, he's just so like awkwardly funny. Like, his presentation is always just so.
I didn't think it was.
You
I
know,
didn't think it was that great.
Like,
and you talk about like I looked at everything he's done. I don't think I like. I don't think anything that he's done I like.
Hold on, wait. Land of the Lost.
Stupid.
Oh!
In fact, you know what? I liked right. Will Ferrell was hysterical.
It was great, yeah.
And then, but I was like, the weakest point was that dude. He was the weakest character in that movie. The weakest movie.
Oh,
it was so stupid. Please, dinosaurs, eat him.
Oh, come on, Mr. McBride. I love you. All right.
Sorry, dude.
Oh my gosh. So,
anyway, so yeah.
So Danny, if you're not busy,
Stinko.
If you want to come by the next show, you can hang out with us.
You can guest host for me.
You can guest host, and you can or just I'll step out. You can argue with Tim.
Oh my god.
Just please keep the mullet.
Sorry.
Business in the front, party in the back. I'd appreciate that.
But yeah. Anyway, my show for you was supposed to be Jack. Oh my god.
Jack Reacher.
No, not Reacher.
No, Jack. We were drinking.
Ryan.
Jack Ryan. Yeah. So I will.
And you like Krasinski.
I do like John Krasinski.
And I thought you would be excited about watching it.
I am.
You forgot.
Yeah. So that'll be my homework. I ran out of my Adderall. So
anyway.
Yeah. So I will promise you guys next episode I'm going to watch this.
I do want to say
Hunters
second season came on and we've been watching it.
It's pretty good.
Been watching it? The second season. Season 2.
We watched the whole thing to the end.
That's first season.
No,
you haven't started watching the second season?
Sure I have.
Oh, where they're going after the big guy?
Yeah. I watched the whole thing.
Okay. All right. So I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
We've been watching the episode here.
Apparently, I'm not going to give you any details.
Better.
I'm not going to. But apparently there was, I think it was somehow related to COVID or something with the writer's strike where they had to rapidly wrap it up.
In the first season.
Yeah. So the ending of the second season felt like
First season.
No, the second. The end of the series.
Oh, so they had to wrap up the second season.
Yeah, the end of the series felt like they were just rapidly pulling it together. Yeah, like.
Oh, that sucks.
But I liked the build up, so please continue to watch it.
Yeah, we're good. I love that show.
Yeah.
I don't like Al Pacino, but I won't get into that. But it makes sense now.
I did find out. So the character, the guy that plays Hitler.
Yeah, don't give away.
I'm not done. I'm saying.
But they don't know.
Yeah, but so Hitler's in the thing, right? So the guy that plays Hitler, I was trying to go like.
I know who he is. You know who he is?
I know. You tell me where you know him.
I know who he is. Ace Ventura.
Ooh, that's good. I wasn't thinking that.
He's the guy that owned the fish tanks.
Yes.
The rich guy.
Yes.
He's like, what's the matter, Ventura? Did you eat something wrong?
Oh, right. That's him. Yeah. Now I immediately pulled him from Blade. He was the head vampire when they pulled his teeth out on the beach.
Oh, yeah. 30 seconds.
Yeah. But he was the head vampire there.
Yeah, he always has those little tiny roles. Like
but I love that guy. I don't know.
He's so old looking.
And he's so awesome. I want to that guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's all right.
Like the characters he plays are always so deep. There's always so much
weird, different.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I don't even know your name. You're amazing.
Accent. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing John Krasinski in a non-comedy role. That'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. Yeah. So
very cool.
So let's wrap
real
up
quick though.
Yeah.
You'll be happy to know that there's a season 2 of Severance coming soon. Russ's other favorite show. Did you ever even watch any more episodes?
No, dude.
It gets so good. The cast is really good.
I will give you the cast is yeah. So final thoughts on Shanky's grip.
This is a plus.
I'm going to say that. Yeah,
this is good. It ranks up there with McGilligan's. I would have to say. So about an 8.
You know what this makes me think of? Like almost like a mild Jägermeister.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So if Jaeger's a little rough and you want to try something not so,
it's alcoholic cream soda.
Yeah, it's 100%. So
all right, well,
all right, dude.
Happy Halloween, everybody. We'll see you at Thanksgiving time.
Don't eat any apples with razors in them.
And laced candy, gummy bears.
Fentanyl in your gummies or whatever.
Yeah. So. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Make sure you like and What's the other thing?
Like and follow,
share,
and
leave comments, and
make us a part of.
What happened? India, come on! I noticed that you guys stopped watching this. I wanted to watch.
Maybe some of you like EDM guys can put us in some of your music.
We have a lot of candidates.
I don't know Canada.
I know they don't like that.
There you go. Bye guys.
See you in a month.
See ya.